Is the Bay Area housing bubble about to burst? This is the housing market forecast for 2024. Time to forget about the 2023 Bay Area real estate market. Let's get ready for this crazy ride for 2024. I'll cover 3 of the most important topics whether you are a home buyer or a home seller. Those would be price, inventory, and mortgage rate. At the end of the video, I'll also give you my top 3 tips on how you can be successful in finding the right home for you this 2024. The question of, is the Bay Area housing bubble about to burst, is certainly attention grabbing. That's the question that's got everyone in the Bay Area glued to their Zillow app, refreshing it like it's a lottery. And guess what? We're gonna unpack it all in this video. We'll dig into the data, expose the trends, and leave you with some serious knowledge bombs to help you navigate this wild housing market. But before we dive headfirst into the panic or celebration, let's unpack this a bit. Is it even a bubble? There are strong arguments to be made on both sides. Let's look at evidence for a bubble. There's talk of unsustainable price growth. Bay Area home prices have skyrocketed in recent years, far outpacing wages. This rapid appreciation is often a hallmark of a bubble. Prices are soaring faster than Elon Musk's ego, leaving regular folks like you and me wondering, is this a dream ride to the moon or a one-way ticket to financial oblivion? Think about it. Your salary might be inching up like a snail on Ambien, but those million-dollar home listings are doing backflips on steroids. It's like they're mocking your measly paycheck, whispering, you'll never be able to afford me, you peasant. Next evidence for a bubble is speculative buying. Again, there's talk of significant portion of Bay Area properties that are bought by investors, often cash, further inflating prices without reflecting actual demand from residents. Next, high debt levels. Many Bay Area homeowners are highly leveraged, making them vulnerable to interest rate hikes or economic downturns. Now, those are the evidence that we have a bubble. Now for evidence against a bubble. The first one, strong fundamentals. The Bay Area boasts a robust economy with high job growth, particularly in high tech, which fuels sustained demand for housing. This is actually the argument against unsustainable price growth I mentioned earlier. I hate to tell you this, but this is just the Bay Area flexing its financial muscles. Next, we have limited supply. We are not going to get a bunch of inventory from current homeowners who are in financial trouble or any type of distress selling anytime soon. Plus, geographic constraints and strict zoning regulations limit new housing construction, keeping supply tight and prices high. There is no unseen hand keeping inventory in low levels. The fact of the matter is demand is way out there and supply can't catch up. I mean, look right now, we are in this high mortgage rate environment and the so-called unaffordable monthly mortgages prices continue to climb. Next up is large cash reserves. Remember what I said earlier about strong fundamentals, how the Bay Area is just flexing its financial muscles? Well, many Bay Area residents have accumulated significant wealth, making them less vulnerable to mortgage defaults. This is why we continue to see home buyers out there. So will it burst? And like I asked earlier, is there anything to burst at all? Predicting the future of the housing market is always tricky, and pronouncements of imminent doom should be taken with a grain of salt. However, some key factors could influence the Bay Area's trajectory in 2024. Now let's look at my predictions. Let's start with prediction number 1. Home prices are likely to stay high. Regrettably, the reality is that higher home prices will continue for the foreseeable future. Despite the steep climb and expense associated with obtaining a mortgage in today's market, it is evident that Bay Area homebuyers remain willing to invest significantly in their homes. And what do I mean by invest is that they are simply willing to put their money where their mouth is. The problem of housing inventory continues to exert upward pressure on prices, countering the impact of increased mortgage rates. Before moving on to prediction number 2, let me give you the 4 main reasons why the Bay Area continues to be a competitive real estate market and we keep seeing sky-high property values. These are the factors that will contribute and will continue to contribute to the likelihood that home prices will remain high in the Bay Area in the foreseeable future. The first one on top of the list, tech industry influence. The Bay Area, as you know, is a global technology hub, home to major tech companies, startups, and innovation centers. The prosperity and growth of the tech industry contribute significantly to the region's economic vitality. The high income levels of tech professionals often result in strong demand for premium housing, exerting upward pressure on home prices. Number 2 on the list, what goes hand in hand with the tech industry is a strong job market. The Bay Area's job market is dynamic and diverse with opportunities not only in the tech sector, but also in finance, healthcare, and other industries. For all the talk of people leaving the Bay Area or leaving California, our robust job market attracts a steady influx of professionals to the region, further fueling demand for housing. As long as the job market remains strong, the demand for homes is likely to persist, maintaining upward pressures on prices. Third is desirable lifestyle. The Bay Area offers a unique lifestyle characterized by a pleasant climate, cultural attractions, and proximity to natural beauty. These factors make it an attractive destination for individuals and families both nationally and internationally. The desirability of the region contributes to sustained demand for housing, particularly in sought-after neighborhoods, which tends to keep home prices high. Fourth, investor activity. The Bay Area has been a hotspot for real estate investors seeking long-term appreciation. Investor activity coupled with the demand from primary home buyers contributes to a competitive real estate market. Investors are often willing to pay a premium for properties in anticipation of future value appreciation, further supporting high home prices. Now, I want to make it clear that it's not that we are flooded with investors in the marketplace that is driving prices higher. What I am saying is that because of an already highly competitive market, investors, even though small in numbers, are still affecting the market. Now, let's go back to my predictions. Prediction number 2. This one has to do with inventory. Most likely, what you will see or read on the news is that inventory is going up for 2024. This will be true. Inventory will be increasing, but despite these increases, it will still be way below the norms or, more importantly, the demand. And I really caution you on this because you might fall into the trap of more inventory coming and you keep waiting for prices to drop, but it keeps going the other way. Nationally, it takes about 6 months worth of housing inventory to be able to meet demand. Right now, we are nowhere near that. The Bay Area has been historically way below these numbers. In fact, when compared to the rest of California, we consistently have the lowest number of housing inventory. The only time I have seen Bay Area housing inventory to be up more than demand in my 20 years in real estate was during the mortgage meltdown. You will most likely also see in the news that there will be an increase in the number of transactions in California. California is forecasted to have an increase of 23% in number of transactions. If you look at that number in a vacuum, it seems like a big increase. But the reality is that we are coming from extremely low numbers, and even with the forecasted increase, we are still way below the norm. Finally, prediction number 3. Mortgage rates will continue to drop, but not to the levels that we've become accustomed to. So, if you're one of those home buyers looking for the 3% mortgage rate, not going to happen. As we are nearing the end of this year, mortgage rates are starting to dip below 7s. Now, most of the forecasts that I've seen says that interest rate would be in the mid-6. I have to tell you that these forecasts that I follow continue to get updated. Sometimes higher and other times it goes lower. If you are so inclined to know or to find out what mortgage rates might be doing, then just follow what the Feds are doing. In 2022 and 2023, the Feds raised rates aggressively and consecutively, thereby affecting pretty much everything that we pay for. Now, inflation is cooling and there are fears of a recession, so we are seeing the Feds ease up. So in 2024, we could see a pause in the Fed rate hikes or actually even lower the Fed funds rates, thereby lowering borrowing costs again. But again, don't expect the 3% rates or even 4% or even 5%. So in a nutshell, prices will remain higher, inventory will increase, but it won't be enough to turn the tide, and mortgage rates will start or continue to go down to the mid-6. So if we look at this with rose-colored glasses, one can say that this coming year could be a better year for both home buyers and home sellers, as mortgage rates are expected to decline. The fact is that these high mortgage rates are not only hampering new home buyers by making it more expensive to afford to buy a home, but it's also hampering home sellers with their plans of selling, because even though most of the sellers have a ton of equity, if they end up buying again, it also makes it more expensive for them. These home sellers are often called rate lock home sellers. I have several clients in this situation. They want to buy their dream home because they have outgrown their current home and they have a ton of equity. What ends up happening is that when they run the numbers on their new mortgage, even if the loan amount is the same or even lower than their current mortgage, the monthly payments are astronomical and it literally stops them on their tracks. But I do believe that this coming year, a lot of these home sellers that wants to move will go ahead and bite the bullet, if you will, and move on with the next phase of their life. It's just natural. You can't put your life on hold indefinitely because the mortgage rates are higher. Now, if you're planning to buy a home this coming year, here are my top 3 tips so you can be successful. By the way, I'm here to help you if you need help, whether you are buying or selling. Tip number 1, do it earlier in the year. Why earlier in the year? Most of the buying activity happens during spring and summer, which means more competition. The beginning of the year tends to have fewer active buyers in the market. With less competition, April 15th is when everything starts ramping up. So make sure you get a jump on the competition. And by the way, sellers who list their homes in the winter months, especially right after the holidays, may be more motivated to sell. Some homeowners might have a pressing need to move, such as job relocation, and could be more willing to negotiate on price and terms. This leads to what I call a potential price advantage. Depending on the local market, home prices may be more negotiable during the winter months. Sellers might be more open to offers considering the lower demand compared to the peak spring and summer seasons. And by the way, if you want a list of homes that's been on the market for quite a while now that you might be able to get a lower price, send me an email. Tip number 2, buy brand new construction home. Buying a new construction home offers several advantages that can be appealing to home buyers. Here are some reasons why you may choose to buy a new construction home. Number 1, no bidding wars. This is one of the things that I keep telling my clients when they consider a brand new construction. In a competitive real estate market like the Bay Area, existing homes most of the time are subject to bidding wars. With new construction home, buyers can often avoid the stress of competing with other offers. Now, this is not to say that there's no competition. There's still competition, but the difference is once you have identified the house you want and you put a deposit, no more competing. Second reason to buy new construction, financing incentives. Very important with high mortgage rates. Some builders and developers offer financing incentives to attract buyers. These incentives may include closing cost assistance, upgraded features at no extra cost, or special financing rates. I've seen rates as low as 5%. Third advantage of buying a brand new home, the ability to customize and have modern features like energy efficiency and sustainability, low maintenance and repairs, modern building codes and safety standards, a builder's warranty, and community amenities. Buying new construction really has a lot of advantages. Now, 2 big disadvantages, if you ask me, are timing and lot size. Timing because in most cases, you might not be able to move right away or you are at the mercy of the builder's timeline. Second is lot size. Lot sizes are getting smaller and smaller as builders are mandated to build higher and higher density neighborhoods. So even if you go an hour away outside of San Francisco or an hour away outside of San Jose, you will find that lot sizes are starting to shrink with new construction. One more disadvantage that I would like to add is that if you have a house to sell, these new home builders typically do not take a contingent contract. Meaning you can't tell them, I'm buying your house, but I will need to sell my house before I can qualify for a new loan. Hey, but guess what? I can help you with that. Okay, we move on to my last tip. Tip number 3, act fast and decisively. When you make an offer, and I highly suggest this to my clients, I ask them, what is the best and highest offer you want to make that you won't go in the end? I could have gone another 25,000 or 50,000 or whatever. Put your best offer up front because in a lot of cases, you might not get a counter offer. Also, if you're comfortable, remove as many contingencies up front to make your offer stand out. With new home builders, once they make new homes available, you have to do the same thing. Act fast even if you don't like the home. Meaning, say new homes that they release are not the ones that you like. Tell them right away so that they know that you decide fast. They will appreciate that and remember it. If you make them wait and then decide not to buy what they have, next time there's a release, you might not be on top of the callback list. Again, this is where I come in to help you. Hey, look, a lot goes into making a competitive offer. I highly suggest that you have an in-depth discussion with your realtor, hopefully it's me, and your lender so that you can make the best offer you can make and give yourself a chance. So let's land this plane. Instead of a dramatic burst like a bubble, a more likely scenario is gradual price stabilization, meaning more normal appreciation. This wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing as it could make housing more affordable for long-term residents and prevent unsustainable price growth. The Bay Area housing market is complex and dynamic. While there are certainly risks to consider, declaring it a bubble on the verge of bursting might be an oversimplification. Careful analysis of the underlying factors and nuanced approach are crucial for navigating this ever-evolving landscape. Here are some additional things to keep in mind. The Bay Area is not monolithic. Different submarkets within the region may experience varying degrees of price fluctuations. Individual circumstances matter. Each homeowner's financial situation and housing goals will influence how they are affected by any market changes. It's always wise to consult with your financial advisor or real estate professional for personalized guidance. Remember, staying informed, understanding the risk, and making informed decisions is key to navigating any real estate market, bubble or not.